comes to solo hiking as a woman or a queer person, you may be wondering how to stay safe. My biggest tip is actually pretty controversial, but I've been using this method for the last 10 years to hike safely alone, and I've only felt uncomfortable once. I'll give you the juicy details later. Before I even head out, I tell someone where I'm going, what trail I'm hiking, what car I'm bringing, and when I plan to be back. I'll give them a check-in time, usually about 2 hours after I plan to be back in cell service, and if they check in and I don't respond within 30 minutes, they are instructed to call the nearest ranger station for help. Next, I always carry a Garmin InReach Mini. Not only can I call SOS, but I also send short texts. I'll update my contact when I've reached a certain point, such as a landmark or parking area that doesn't have cell phone service. But I modify my setup. First, ditch the crummy carabiner the thing comes with. It's actually useless and can easily fall off if you end up tumbling down a hillside. Use a climbing rated carabiner instead. That way you won't lose your device. I also keep it on the shoulder strap of my pack for easy access. When you're alone, you sometimes may want a little entertainment. It never hurts to bring along added motivation. I listen to music while I trail run, but I only keep one earbud in. That way I can hear my surroundings. I don't make small talk with people. In fact, I'm quite the opposite. A slight smile and a nod is all you're going to get from me on the trail, and usually I'm moving pretty fast. You may not be a fast hiker, and that's totally okay. But moving quickly gets me out of a lot of social situations I just don't want to be in. If I encounter someone who looks sketchy, and this just happened to me, more on that in a second, I pretend I'm having a phone conversation with my earbud in. I'll talk loudly about where I am, and then I'm heading back soon to meet them somewhere. Early in the morning or in the evening, you're more likely to have wildlife encounters, so if it's quiet and early, my personal favorite time to hike, I'll make a bit of noise to let wildlife know I'm coming. In the new area, I always read up about what wildlife I may encounter and what to do if I encounter it. Another off-kilter thing I do is carry and use a pee funnel. There are several reasons for this, but the primary one is that I can be mistaken for a man. Fine by me. Bonus tip, this works exceptionally well in public places or unexpected roadside stops. I don't want to be in a compromised position, like with my pants down, and therefore less agile for animals or otherwise. Ever been approached by a mountain goat midstream? I have, and it's actually pretty frightening. I carry pepper spray and bear spray, not always for the animals. I know how to use both and have practice. I also keep them in an easy to reach place, such as a hip belt, shoulder strap, or a leg pocket. The other day I was on a popular trail while I was running. It was earlier in the morning, but it was moderately busy already. I came across a person who just didn't look right. I didn't have good vibes from this person, and I wanted to get the heck away. It was my first time in 10 years of doing this where alarm bells were really going off due to somebody else. They slowed down, stared, and even turned around for a second to follow me. I ended up shaking them and reported the incident to law enforcement. But this encounter brings me to my most controversial tip. Stick to trails that are lesser known or travel really popular trails during less busy times. In fact, most of my solo running journeys are up peaks that don't even have much of a trail to begin with. I'm often the only one around, and I'm okay with that. It takes an entire aspect of dealing with other people while you're alone out of the equation. The only times I've ever gotten weirded out by people is at the popular stuff. Of course, you can make the argument that if people around, there's probably going to be less bad behavior, and that can be true. In fact, when I recommend people summit their first 14er solo, I actually recommend they go on a busier trail. But summiting a mountain involves a bit more risk than your average hike. At the end of the day, you should do what makes you feel the most comfortable. So if you want to ignore my advice, go right ahead. And always remember that your gut feeling is valid. Lean into it. You're one step closer to becoming an outdoor baddie that's confident in their abilities to go solo. Scope out my next video where I give you incredibly simple hiking hacks that don't cost a dime.